Hi everyone, we're here today with Madhu from Something Sketchy. This is your first solo show, correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
so we're going to be talking about her first solo show, which is currently at Slice of Life Art Gallery, and it's called The Journey. So I was hoping you could start us off by going through the timeline of The Journey, if that's okay.
Of my journey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Spans 13 years. I started off in 2011. I was a copywriter in advertising in Bombay, India. It was a 9 to 5 job, and I just got interested in illustration. The the company wanted me to do an internal campaign, and they gave me free rein, and they were like, you need to make everyone, each of the departments, feel like part of part of a unit. And so I visualized each department as part of a machine that explained the working of the company.
Okay.
So there
Like
was,
specific machines or?
yeah, there were like the data funnel. There was a client servicing wheel, like a hamster wheel, and then there was an idea balloon for the creative department, and
Okay,
then
cool.
it was sending briefs like underwear to the client service.
So
Client
so you
servicing
made
was
like
sending
little comic
briefs.
book characters for each of the departments.
Yeah, I visualized this. So I was a copywriter, so I had the idea and the concept, and then I had to explain it to the art director to do it. But they were busy with client work that was actually paying them. So my art director was like, if you can illustrate this, go ahead. So that was the first time I actually illustrated anything,
Cool.
and it was really fun. And I called it the big picture. And he cleaned it up for me in Photoshop, and the higher ups really liked it, and they blew it up and they put it in all the different branches of the office. It was a direct marketing company that I worked for.
Okay.
And they were really nice, and they sent me to Amsterdam on a creative trip, which was really great. So that was a great first job to have. But when I came back, it was like back to reality. Now I'm doing banking letters for, we had a banking client.
Far less creative.
Yeah, and so for some creative respite, I used to like sketch on the side. And one of my bosses, he had a band called The Second Shift, and was playing at Hard Rock Cafe, and he asked if I would create a music video for one of their songs, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, yeah, you're gonna pay me to do this? Yes, I'll do it. And I did something. It was good. They liked it, and then he asked me to give him a link for credits. Just to like say who did the art, and I didn't have a page or anything, so I made a Facebook page called Something Sketchy, and I got all my friends to like it. And I made little business cards with like this color creature on it, that I had drawn at work, because I was like, there's too little color in this place, and I drew like this creature. It was very colorful, and I put that on business cards, and I just handed them out at the venue. And that was the beginning of my journey in art and illustration.
As Something Sketchy, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so the show is kind of about you trying to understand the journey and where you are at now in your process. I'm curious if you can tell us a little bit about how you see that journey from where you are now.
Yeah. I think the show is a way for me to process where I am now, because it really has been a lot of highs and lows. And I tend to over romanticize the past, and I never feel like I'm doing enough. And then it's nice, it was a good exercise for me to look back and feel like I didn't feel like I was doing enough at those points of time. But now that I look back at it years from then, I feel like I did a lot then. So even if I feel like I'm not doing enough now, it's all part of the journey, it's all part of the process, and it all adds up. And
Yeah, you mentioned the highs and the lows a little bit during the talk beforehand as well. I'm wondering, throughout the highs and the lows of this journey specifically, how you learned to manage both of those, being the lows, not letting them bring you down too much, and like still being able to get back on the horse and keep creating, and then the highs, like not getting lost in that high and then over romanticizing the past. I'm wondering how you feel about those highs and lows and how you maneuver through them now?
Oh, I wish I had a solution
Sure, yeah.
to how to deal with it, but I think every high and low is different as well. It's not always the same experience. Yeah.
Is there any sort of through line, like any kind of something that maintains the same throughout them that you can relate back to?
I'm not sure, but I feel like my latest low has been like moving to a new country.
Being here.
Yeah, moving to Canada 2 years ago and at 36 and like not realizing everything that it takes to like move countries and start from scratch.
Yeah.
Because to continue off from where I left with the beginning of something sketchy.
Back in
2011, yeah. After I started it, I started putting my designs on products. I had a really bad breakup, and I had to just like throw myself into something. So while I was working a 9 to 5, I also just started putting my designs on products and selling them at markets.
Okay.
And I would do like Comic-Con and I did Bombay Comic-Con. It sold really well. I feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I went there on my own. I didn't have a stall mate. I didn't know how anything worked.
That's the best way. You just throw yourself into
throw
it
yourself
and see what
in
happens.
there and see what happens. Yeah, and I had friends who came and helped me, and then I kept doing markets even while I was working that 9 to 5, and I did like a Nora Jones concert, and then I made trips of it. Like I went to a music concert in Goa, but I had a stall there to sell, and I went to a surf festival in Puri in India, and then I had a stall there.
Cool.
So it was just like getting my stuff around and just having fun and
still going to things that you enjoy and doing things that you enjoy with your life, but also being like, oh, so I'm gonna sell some things.
Yeah.
Right.
And then and then still having the job as well. And then I got a gig supplying my product to a chain store.
Okay.
And that was because of like networking again, like going out and meeting people and chatting and so when I got that gig, I quit my 9 to 5.
Just outright. Just left it all behind.
Yeah, because now this was happening and it was a lot of work as a one-person team to be like supplying to a chain store, and so I threw myself into that.
Would you consider that a high or a low? Like based on the challenges of leaving your job, like I'm imagining there was a lot of like back and forth between the two.
Yeah, when I was thinking about highs and lows, I was thinking success and happiness would be different graphs. So successful, getting into a chain store, high. Happiness level during that time, not
really.
Because it was very stressful dealing with vendors and everything.
I'm assuming there was also a lot of making other people's work versus making the work that you personally wanted to put out there. Yeah,
it was not so much making art anymore. I had made the art and I had put it on products, and now I'm a business person. Right. Which was not fun for me, but I'm very grateful for that opportunity because my stuff went to like 6 different cities and then I can say that it's one of my highs. It is a success. And then and that's when I started the SketchUp. And that was the 2014.
Yeah, can you explain what the SketchUp is so people understand, and maybe people can show up to it as well?
So the SketchUp is an illustrators group, and I started it in 2014 because I quit my job and I missed being around other creatives. I was working alone all the time. And so I felt like I met a lot of artists one-on-one, and we had similar issues, but we'd never come together and talk about it as a group. And I felt like we needed that platform. So it started with like 10 people, our first session. Okay. And I wanted it to be like informal, intimate artist gatherings.
Sure.
And then I would have like like a more experienced illustrator talk to us about their journey.
Okay, like kind of like a little bit of a mentorship, like providing
Yeah.
perspective, like maybe a little encouragement, like keep going, like
Yeah.
I'm up here.
Yes, yeah. But very informal. It wasn't like a mic and like. But then it kind of grew. So
Okay.
by the time it was 2017, I was getting about 120, 150 RSVPs to
Wow.
my meetups, and I couldn't then keep it in this informal, casual format.
Yeah.
And it became less about like the sharing, and it was just more of a talk, which was also great because everyone would interact after.
Yeah. But it's hard to have like a sense of community where you're like getting to, everyone's voice is getting heard by everyone when you have that many people.
Yeah, and I had venue constraints as well, and not everyone could join in. And so then I changed the format of the SketchUp, and I started organizing art shows.
Okay.
So the venue that I used for these talks that grew bigger, they started paying me to do art shows.
Okay.
So there would be 1 or 2 day events, and there'd be workshops. I'd curate an art market or a show, and then we'd have like a hand-poked tattoo station with like 6 artists. We'd have talks, workshops, life drawing activities, and paint by numbers. Someone used to do like giant paint by numbers, and
that they would like do in front of everyone, or that they would share with other people.
That everyone could participate in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun, and and then there'd be some music and stuff like that, and each show had a different theme. But yeah, my first one was in 2017 when it grew. The numbers of the SketchUp grew more than what I expected. So then I started doing a show every year, and I did one in 2020, which was the Protest Fest, which was protesting like some of our government's fascist policies.
Okay.
And there was a lot of great art that came out of that, and it was lovely. And then I moved here, and by that time I was doing a lot of freelance illustration and graphic design. So that was my journey, like 9 to 5, and then I quit, and then I started being an entrepreneur, and then after 2 years I stopped supplying to the chain stores, and I got into freelance graphic design and illustration and organizing art events.
Okay, so now you just make art for yourself and to create a sense of community.
Now,
more so, yeah.
Yeah, now in Canada, it's expensive here.
Yeah.
I don't have the same network that I built over 10 years in India, and and I work 2 part-time jobs that I love, and I can leave when I leave the job.
Right.
And then I have time and energy to do my art as well, and I have a little studio space at Slice. Slice has been the best thing for me, and like finding community here as well. And with the SketchUp now, I organize drink and draws.
Okay.
At East Van Brewing Company, so we meet there, and then we come see the show that's happening at Slice.
Okay, cool. Is that just across the street?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've done like 12 of those meetups so far, and I love that. And today we did a share square at my solo show at the gallery, and that was a really nice session, and I like that format of like us all just sharing more and having conversation while we draw. So that might be something I do.
I was there for the Share Square this time, and I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to ask, it seemed like everyone really got an opportunity to share a little bit about themselves and to tell their story a little bit, and I wanted to know how you feel about the importance of storytelling and for your own sake and for creating a community.
I think that's something I'm really drawn to. I am an introvert, but I find that I need connection with people. And
makes sense.
Maybe I'm an extrovert at some points, but this connection is something I really crave, and I feel like when people share their stories and confide, it really just brings us together, and it makes everything better. It's soothing, and it just makes the world make sense somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I love the connecting and sharing, and I hope to do more of that.
Yeah, I hope you do more too. Yeah. I also wanted to ask, now that you mentioned being an introvert, with maybe some extroverted characteristics, your art is very colorful and very bright, and just walking through your gallery, I experience a lot of joy. And it makes you come across as a bit of an extrovert, to me, honestly.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious about how you would characterize your personality as you a person versus the personality you're portraying in your art.
Ooh, I didn't think of that. I didn't think that my work portrayed an extroverted.
No? How do you feel about it then?
I don't think I have really thought about it.
Okay.
What I really like about this new body of work of mine, which is modern abstract mixed media on canvases and traditional media, which is not something I've been doing in the past. I've always done digital art.
Okay.
Is just how freeing it has been, and the whole like inspiration was like when I was a kid, I used to do like abstract work with like I had a sketch pen set, and my mom gave me like a sketch pad and let me go ham, and I was just
kind of flowed with it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think much, but I would be like in this zone, and I'd use all the colors, and I'd make like something, and my mom would see things in them. She would be like, oh, these are houses and a river, and like, and it was just abstract, colorful stuff, and she loved it, and she framed it and stuff, and so I just wanted to go back to that joy I felt as a child of just like throwing color on the paper and just like letting it flow and not having too much of a plan.
Right.
So for these pieces, I had like 5 color palettes that I did experiments with in my sketchbook. So first I'd have like 5 sketchbooks open, and I'd use all the mixed media I had in this color palette. So I didn't want to spend too much on art materials, so I used found canvases and whatever materials I had. And so I just bring all the reds and all the blues, and now I'm going to see how everything works and put things together and play with composition a bit and figure out what marks I like. And I played a lot with masking fluid, which is so fun.
What's masking fluid?
So it's just a fluid. I think it's latex, and you just paint it on the paper, and then you paint or do anything else on top of it, and then you can pull it off, and the paper shows.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay, cool.
So it's like white.
Yeah.
Or you could paint watercolor and then paint the masking fluid on top of it, and then paint more watercolor, brighter colors, and then it shows underneath, and that's been so fun. So I would do these studies, and then I worked on a bigger canvas and a smaller canvas, like a grand and a petite. So I have one of each in each of the 5 color palettes, and I'm not thinking too much, I'm not trying to say too much. I'm just like enjoying it and going with the flow and feeling that joy.
Did you feel the joy? Okay, it comes across. I can see it. Yeah.
It's been so fun.
Good. Are you still working? I'm curious. Now that we're at this point in the journey in the present day, what do you see coming next? Like, what are you working on moving forward?
I don't know. I feel like with this show, there's no way I'd have done all these canvases if I didn't have a show and a deadline and somewhere. Nice
little motivator.
Yeah, there's no way. They'd have all lied blank there until it's like everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And so, I'm hoping to continue the same thing. Like, I woke up in the morning with this color palette in my mind of like tiger ice cream.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So
that's delicious.
I want like cream and orange and black, and I'm excited about it, and I want to just keep doing it even though there's no show. There's no deadline, there are no canvases. I'm gonna start with my sketchbook studies again and keep going with that.
Cool.
But the show's been really nice for me. I feel like this is a turning point for me because things feel in order now. I feel like I've put some creative stuff out there, and now I can relax and build my skill set, because I'm also going to do more pottery now.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna mention that there's multiple different art forms there. I was wondering if you could list off like all your different mediums of art that you have that you're working with right now.
Yeah. So the newest is the modern mixed media abstract canvases. And then I have a ceramics table that was the exhibit's called Learning How to Suck at Things.
Yeah. I resonate with that a lot. I really like that name. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm learning how to suck at interviews.
You're doing great.
Great, thank you.
But yeah, pottery is hard. And I think my biggest learning, I think when you hit 30 or something, or I was at this weird place where I'd gotten good at a couple of things, and that's all I did.
Yeah.
And so when I picked up a new skill set, and was not good at it, I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want to not do it.
Did you throw a tantrum?
A little cry.
Yeah.
But I'm learning to like lean into sucking at stuff and just embracing it and keeping at it. And I like it. It's kind of thrilling to like fall into that pain.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you want to grow, like, I'm gonna have to keep experiencing that pain if I want to keep learning and growing. Sure. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be doing the same things over and over.
Yeah. So you like spontaneity. You like to keep finding new things in your life. Otherwise, you get a little bored.
Well, yeah. Well, I would have said that about myself in my 20s.
Okay.
And I'll say that about myself like right now. That's how I'm feeling. But the past 2 or 3 years, I've been feeling a bit defeated about and like not very spontaneous.
Sure.
But that's again, I guess, the highs and lows and part of the journey.
Right. Yeah. So moving forward, you're looking to work more with pottery and your ceramics more.
Yeah, and in a more relaxed way, and maybe not having a deadline will be nice. And I'll still create stuff, but slowly and yeah. I'm cool. Looking forward to it, yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you put out, yeah. Yeah, is there anything else specifically you'd like to talk about or mention to our lovely camera?
Yeah, just the rest of the exhibit is like merchandise. It's illustration from over the years, digital illustration. And then I have a little animated film because I did 1 year of animation at Van Arts, and it's about my cat and how she never lets me be in the zone because she's the most important thing and requires all the attention.
Of course. As she deserves.
As she deserves, yes.
Yeah. Should we say happy birthday to your cat before we leave?
Yeah, happy birthday, Demi Cat.
Happy birthday, Demi Cat. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. This was really nice. I'm really glad that you agreed to this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome. You're so cool.
Thanks. All right. That's it. We'll cut it there. Do you have the slide? The slat?
No, I don't think I do.
You didn't bring it?
I don't.
This was the time. So. He bought one of those things, but he's never used it.